Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News, an Indian perspective on All India Radio. This is Nishit Kumar bringing glimpses of major developments of the day from across the globe. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says world is looking towards India for a cost-effective and efficient vaccine against COVID-19. New Delhi says comments by Canadian PM on farmer issues are unacceptable and amount to interference in its internal affairs. US imposes visa curbs on members of Chinese Communist Party. Iran says it will comply with 2015 nuclear deal if US and Europe honor original commitments. And in cricket, India defeat Australia by 11 runs in the first T20 international at Canberra. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi has said that the world is looking towards India for a cost-effective and efficient vaccine against the COVID-19 pandemic. Addressing the all-political party meeting today, Mr. Modi informed that Indian scientists are confident of coming up with a vaccine against the corona menace in the next few weeks. He said 8 possible vaccine candidates are under different phases of trials in the country.
भारत के वैज्ञानिक अपनी सफलता को लेकर बहुत ही आश्वस्त हैं। उनका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल बहुत ही मजबूत है। अभी अन्य देशों की कई वैक्सीनों के नाम बाजार में हम सब सुन रहे हैं, लेकिन फिर भी दुनिया की नजर कम कीमत वाली सबसे सुरक्षित वैक्सीन पर है और इस वजह से स्वाभाविक है पूरी दुनिया की नजर भारत पर भी है। भारत की अपनी 3 अलग अलग वैक्सीन का ट्रायल अलग अलग चरणों में है। एक्सपर्ट्स ये मानकर चल रहे हैं कि अब कोरोना की वैक्सीन के लिए बहुत ज्यादा इंतजार नहीं करना पड़ेगा। माना जा रहा है कि अगले कुछ हफ्तों में कोरोना की वैक्सीन तैयार हो जाएगी। जैसे ही वैज्ञानिकों की हरी झंडी मिलेगी, भारत में टीकाकरण अभियान शुरू कर दिया जाएगा।
He said the country has a robust network for such massive vaccination programs and appropriate cold storage facilities are also being added for proper storage and supply of the vaccines. Mr. Modi said the healthcare workers and frontline corona warriors will be the ones who will be administered the vaccine first. He said the country has come a long way since February-March when the first news of coronavirus emerged and thanked everyone for their indomitable spirit and efforts. Mr. Modi said India not only helped its own citizens but also reached out to other nations and assisted them with medical supplies. Prime Minister of India Narendra Modi today said the government is committed to strengthen science and technology education in the country. Delivering his keynote address at IIT 2020 Global Summit organized by Pan IIT USA, Mr. Modi said in recent times a culture of hackathons is developing in India and in these young minds are giving outstanding solutions to national and global problems. The Prime Minister said the government has been working with various countries in Southeast Asia and Europe in this area. He said India is witnessing a sea change in the way it works and added that the things we thought could never happen are being delivered at great speed. Mr. Modi said India is fully committed to the mantra of reform, perform and transform.
India is witnessing a sea change in the way it works. Things we thought could never happen are being delivered at a great speed. Ours is a government fully committed to the principle of reform, perform, transform. There is no sector left out from our reforms. The post-COVID-19 order will be about relearning, rethinking, re-innovating and reinventing in almost every field.
India today said comments by the Canadian Prime Minister, some cabinet ministers and members of parliament on issues relating to Indian farmers are unacceptable and amount to interference in its internal affairs. The Canadian High Commissioner was summoned by the Ministry of External Affairs and conveyed that if such actions continued, it will have a seriously damaging impact on the ties between the two countries. The High Commissioner was told that these comments have encouraged gatherings of extremist activities in front of the Indian High Commission and consulates in Canada that raise issues of safety and security. New Delhi has said that it expects the Canadian government to ensure fullest security to the Indian diplomatic personnel and refrainment of the Canadian political leaders from pronouncements that legitimize extremist activism. U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has issued new rules to restrict travel to the United States by members of China's ruling Communist Party, CCP, and their families. According to a State Department spokesman, the new policy, which took immediate effect, limits the maximum duration of travel visas for party members and their families to 1 month from 10 years. Previously, party members, like other Chinese citizens, could obtain visitor visas for the U.S. that were valid up to 10 years. Travel visas for party members will also be limited to a single entry rather than multiple entries, as was possible before. The spokesperson said this is in keeping with the ongoing policy, regulatory and law enforcement action across the U.S. government to protect it from the CCP's malign influence. Under the U.S. Immigration and Nationality Act, the Department of State has the authority to limit visa validity of groups of individuals hostile to U.S. values, the spokesperson added. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. And now the coronavirus updates from around the world. The WHO has confirmed over 64.35 million COVID infections worldwide. Italy will ban travel between its region from 21st December to 6th January as part of strict coronavirus curbs over the Christmas holidays. Costa Rica has signed an agreement with Pfizer Inc. and its German partner BioNTech SE for the manufacture and delivery of 3 million COVID-19 vaccines next year. Kazakhstan President Office said on Friday that the country will start producing the Russian Sputnik V vaccine against the novel coronavirus this month and begin a mass vaccination campaign next year. In India, COVID recovery rate has improved to 94.2%. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif said on Thursday that it will fully comply with the 2015 nuclear deal if both the United States and Europe honor their original commitments. Addressing a Rome conference virtually, Zarif said that Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, could not be renegotiated, but it could be resurrected. Earlier, Iran passed a law on Wednesday that obliges the government to halt UN inspections of its nuclear sites and step up uranium enrichment beyond the limit if its sanctions are not eased within 2 months. India defeated Australia by 11 runs in the first T20 International at Manuka Oval, Canberra, to take a 1-0 lead of the 3-match series. T. Natarajan and Yuzvendra Chahal took 3 wickets each as the Indian team came out with a clinical show to draw first blood. The second T20 match will be played on the 6th of December at Sydney Cricket Ground. England's first one-day international against South Africa in Cape Town was postponed after one of the host players tested positive for coronavirus. The match was scheduled to be held today. Much before the coronavirus pandemic hit the world and forced digital education to take the lead, there was a dedicated and committed man in Solapur in the Indian state of Maharashtra named Ranjit Singh Desale, who had already started to design QR codes for his students. Ranjit Singh Desale, a teacher at the government school in Solapur, has been named as the winner of the Global Teacher Prize 2020. The award will be presented by the London-based Varkey Foundation and UNESCO. A team of scientists from the Bengaluru-based Indian Institute of Science has developed a device that can measure the rate of evaporation within a couple of minutes. The professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Jayavant H. Arakare, has informed that this device is more efficient and inexpensive when compared with the existing methods. This device, he added, allows a much more realistic measure of transpiration from plants and evaporation from soils. Measuring evaporation in plants and soil is useful for farmers to gauge water requirements for their fields. It also helps weather stations to characterize the local atmospheric conditions. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let us listen to his favorite Bhajan Vaishnava Jan by artists from Nepal. And with that, we end this bulletin. See you at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.